Well, hello, Facebook land. Good day, good day, good day. Happy Wednesday. Welcome. I got an epic conversation that we're going to have today. We're talking about all things codependency, how this roots into trauma responses as well, and just 3 identities that are very sneaky that are connected to codependency, and how these identities are big giant blocks to all of the things you would like to be creating for yourself. So for those of you catching this later on as the replay, you know the drill. Throw up that hashtag replay. Let me know that you were here. And as we wait for some powerful souls to come and join us, and we wait for Bookface to let people know, I know how they are these days, right? So let's get into it. Codependency. Right? It's one of these very sneaky things that manifests in so many different ways, that is yet another thing that gets thrown around as a diagnosis, or, maybe not a diagnosis, because maybe it's not so serious as like being diagnosed with something by a doctor, but it is a disorder, if you will. It is a dysfunction because it's so rooted in us being in our divided self and being in our divided consciousness. So allow me to explain, and then I'm going to break down these 3 sneaky identities, okay? So for somebody like me, I struggled with a lot of addiction early on in my life and into my 30s, and then I got sober and I started my healing journey, right? And one of the things that I started to do on my healing journey was I began to really dive into my anxiety and my panic, and why was it that I needed to medicate for all those years, right? What was the thing about life that had me so overwhelmed for all those years that I needed to buffer myself between myself and the world, right? Hello, hi Leanne. And so one of the things that I uncovered was this codependent tendency of like not knowing how to separate myself from other people's emotions, right? Feeling like other people's emotions, other people's reactions are somehow either a threat to me or that they're my responsibility, right? So this is one of the biggest things. Now, if you're highly sensitive, if you guys are watching this, most of you guys that follow me, that listen to me, you're either highly sensitive, maybe you identify as empathic or an empath, light worker. A lot of you are projectors in human design, right? Because these are all highly sensitive descriptions or types or identities, if you will, that kind of help us understand, well, why is it that I'm a little bit different than some of the other humans out there, right? Why is it that I'm more sensitive? Why am I so sensitive to all of these things? And these are just different energies, different blueprints, different ways of being in the world. So we know that for me, when I was struggling because I didn't know how to navigate and I didn't know how to be in the world without taking on it was inundating, it was overwhelming. So of course I was reaching for substances, right? Of course I wanted to medicate, of course, right? Because that's a lot of shit to deal with, all right? So then I get sober, and then I have to start unraveling in my own consciousness, and I have a spiritual awakening, and I'm diving further into consciousness, and I'm healing my trauma, and I'm, getting trained in different modalities as a coach and as a quantum healer and different ways of healing. And so naturally, I found my way to really, from a metaphysical perspective, dissecting and understanding the roots of codependency and addiction. And the roots are definitely in trauma, right? When we have moments of trauma and we make decisions about ourselves and we say, okay, I'm not enough, or life is hard, or I'm not safe, whatever the story is. And then we keep creating from that place. We keep creating from that identity. Then what happens is we develop identities out in the world that we perceive are going to keep us safe. We develop identities that we perceive are going to get us the thing we want, which is usually love or support or attention, financial stability, right? All the things we think we need for survival. We develop identities to get those things because the big lie that we buy into, hey, Kath, right? The big lie that we buy into is that we can't actually get these things if we're just who we are. Let's say that again. The lie we buy into is that we can't actually get the things we need, love, trust, support, security, money, attention, all the things, if we're just who we truly are. Because what happens in the conditioning and in the dysfunction is that we learn early on, well, that's not okay. I need you to be more quiet. I need you to be this. I need you to be anything but what you are, right? And we absorb that, and then we make ourselves wrong. And then we develop these codependent tendencies that are very rooted in trauma responses. So today, we're going to be having lots of conversations about this coming forward in the future here and on my Instagram. So if this speaks to you, be sure to be around and check out all the trainings that are coming down the pike. All right, but today we're breaking down 3 identities that are very sneaky, that show up, that are really, really, really actually huge blocks to your success, right? And you may be having success in some areas, but maybe over here in your relationships, there's a challenge. You may have good relationships, but maybe over here in money, it's a challenge, right? And so I want to break down these 3 identities to see how they may be limiting what you're allowing in and who you're allowing yourself to be. The first one is totally connected to the freeze response. Like many of you in trauma response, that nervous system response, have probably heard of fight or flight, right? But it's actually, there's 4. There's fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. Meaning when we feel a threat or we feel unsafe and that nervous system kicks on, we're going to do one of 4 things. We're either going to fight, we're going to run, we're going to freeze, or we're going to fawn. So these 3 identities are very connected to 3 aspects of this reaction. The one being the freeze, which is the, as I've called the identity, the I will defer to you. When the challenge comes up, immediately it's okay. You know best. I freeze. I don't stand up for my truth. I don't stand up for what I believe. I don't stand up for my core values. I just let you have the say because you're the expert. Okay. Who can relate? Who knows that when challenged or perceived as threatened? Because here's the dysfunction, you guys. Here's the dysfunction. When there's not actually a threat physically, but we're perceiving it as a threat because we've spent so long in an overdriven nervous system and a jacked up consciousness that we think everything's a threat. Somebody confronts us or challenges us, which challenges are simply an opportunity and invitation for growth, invitation to find a new way, but we perceive it as a threat because there's that program, this isn't safe, this isn't safe, this isn't safe. So we do the defer to the expert, we cater to them, we say, okay, we don't stand up, we probably avert our eyes, we don't stand up for our truth, we don't stand up for what we believe in, we don't speak up for what we value, we don't speak up for what's right for us, we freeze and we defer. Who can relate? Let's hear it. Let me know where you guys see yourselves. 2 is the people pleaser, which is connected to the fawn, right? So remember, we've got fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. So the people pleaser is AKA the fawner. Okay, I'm challenged or I'm confronted and I'm immediately going to just start kissing your ass. I'm going to throw everything out that I wanted to say and I'm going to tell you whatever you want to hear. Who can relate? Where are my people pleasers, right? The reason that this is blocking you in your life is because when you are people pleasing, it's one of the biggest slave codes on the planet. When you are people pleasing, you are denying your truth. You are denying your expression in favor of somebody else, what you think they want to hear so that you can what? Be safe or be loved. People pleaser. Yes, right? I was too. So this blocks us because your higher self, your soul, is not going to bring you more until you learn to say no to the bullshit you are rejecting yourself in favor of now, because people pleasing is self-rejection. Your higher self is, you're not going to align to the frequency and the embodiment of success and magnetism and prosperity if you're in self-rejection. I mean, you could probably hustle your way to it in some toxic way, and then you're going to hate it, and you're probably going to be magnetizing people to you who force you into the people pleasing, and it's going to be miserable, right? Why would you do that to yourself? You won't, right? So the key is to become embodied and aligned with the true frequency of success. That means you have to be aligned and embodied with the frequency of self-expression, self-acceptance, not self-rejection in favor of someone you perceive to keep you safe, right? Is this landing? Is this resonating with you guys? So, and let me backpedal a second. For the freeze, the defer to expert identity, the reason that that blocks you is because you're not recognizing yourself as valuable. Deferring to somebody else in favor of what you think they know to keep yourself safe is you literally telling yourself subconsciously, I don't know what's best for me. I don't know myself. I don't value myself enough to stand for what I believe in. I'm not important enough to be kept safe by the divine, right? There's so many things to unravel there. But low key, it connects to I'm not worthy of standing in my own truth and speaking that into the face of somebody that I perceive as an expert. You're not recognizing yourself as the powerful badass that you are. You guys with me? 3, the runner, the fleer, the flighter, right? The fuck it. The identity of the fuck it, I'm out of here. Who can relate? I kind of definitely went through, and here's what you guys are going to find, right? For many of you that this conversation resonates with, you're going to find that you demonstrate several of these based on like where the situation is at any given moment. For me, the fuck it, the runner would come out when I would get into anger. And because before I did my trauma healing, my anger felt like it was going to engulf and overwhelm me. And I was so afraid that my anger was going to cause me to do something destructive that I would instead just flee. I would, fuck it, I'm out. I'm not dealing with this. I can't. My literal words, my commands that had followed me through life from a very young age was, I can't. So the moment my emotions would overwhelm me, I would just say, I can't. And I would walk away. I would walk away. Can you guys imagine you have a command in your subconscious saying, I can't. And then you go out and you're like, I'm going to start a business. I want to help people. I want to be successful. But you've got this record playing back here of like, I can't. That kicks up every time the emotions come in. Well, what do you guys think happened with that? I'll leave it to your speculate. No, I'm just kidding. I'll tell you the story. So what happened with that is that when I started out in business, it was a struggle. It was a challenge because starting a business is growth. It's a spiritual journey. It's an expansion, right? Bringing your gifts to the world, no matter how you want to do it, being seen in your gifts and your magic is expansive and it's terrifying and it's the biggest personal development journey you'll go on. Right? So you're going to grow in it. It's going to be overwhelming at times. It's not like they say on the internet, right? All over the internet, you'll find coaches out there who are telling you how they fucking woke up one day, had a fucking dream, and the next day they were making 6 figures a month. Wank, wank. Right? The only people that happens for are people who already know how to run a business, that have already healed their stuff, and they're not telling you the whole fucking story. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of them not telling you the whole story. Because we buy into the story and then we're left wondering, well, what's wrong with me when it doesn't happen overnight, right? So let's just break this down a little bit more. It's Claire, right? Yep, 1 and the 4. Yeah, girl, yeah. So the thing is that, right, it's an invitation, right? Whatever you're here to do, that calling, that passion that you have, those things, whether it's healing work, whether it's a book you want to write, whether it's something you want to bring and offer, it doesn't matter, right? That calling through your heart, that passion, that gift, that's the divine wanting to be expressed through you. But in order for the divine to be expressed through you, we've got to move out of the way some of those tendencies of the human, the codependency, the trauma, the limited identities, the fears, right? Those commands, like mine was literally, I can't. Now I know that I can, and I actually believe that I can, right? But I had to dig deep and I had to clear out my subconscious. I had to address the codependency. I had to address my beliefs that said somebody else's opinion or truth is more important than mine. I had to stop making myself wrong. right? I had to stop being a people pleaser and rejecting myself. I had to stop saying I can't and then running away when it got overwhelming. I had to lean in. I had to learn how to trust myself, and I had to learn how to trust in divine flow. And that's the magic, you guys. That's the healing work. So I would love to hear from you all as you watch this live or on the replay. Which one do you identify with? Where do you see yourself? What are the behaviors that are coming up for you? Because right here, right now, collectively, codependency and safety are two themes that are coming up for us to heal. You guys all, everybody wants to talk about, right? Like ascension and healing and all of this stuff like it's fluffy. No, it's work. It's work. Going to 5D is work, right? Bringing in 5D consciousness is work. We got to clear out all of the density. And some of that density right now is safety and codependency. So if you're feeling it and it's being triggered lately, I want you to know there's nothing wrong. You're not going crazy. You're not dying. It's just consciousness ascending and expanding, and this is the work. And then for those of you that are ready to dive in and clear it out and you are ready to do the work, I invite you to reach out to me because I've got some special spots that I've just opened up for one-to-one coaching. So we can chat about that in Messenger. If you're interested, just send me a message and we'll discuss. But you guys, now is the time, right? It's the time. These things aren't going away. So I would love to hear from you. Let me know where you see yourself. Let me know what stands out to you. Let me know what other behaviors come up for you when it comes to codependency, and I will create some trainings on those. All right, you guys, go forth, be your badass selves, self-acceptance, love, 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 love yourselves. Claire, let it out. Feel those feelings. Recognize yourself. You are all divine, badass, powerful, powerful, powerful beings. This is what I know is the truth, right? I recognize each and every one of you for the power that you are. I recognize each and every one of you for the divinity that you are. I recognize each and every one of you for the truths that you are here to bring to the world. And I recognize each and every one of you as beautiful, beautiful, beautiful expressions of that divine I am. And I just declare that now is your time, right? It is your time to say yes to you. It is your time to expand. It is your time to bring your message forth. It is your time to call in the love, the joy, the health, the money, whatever it is that you desire to be more expressed in your divinity. I say yes to it. It is your time. And I'm just so grateful to each and every one of you for being here. So grateful for this work. So grateful for being alive at this time. Go forth, you all. I release this. Know it is done. And if I can serve you in any way, if you're ready to do some healing work, reach out and we can chat. Go forth, be wildly you, and have it all. Bye.